Aloha. Did you know that for an animal to be classified as quote-unquote grass-fed in the supermarket, it only needs to be outside eating grass for 36.36% of its life? That begs the question, why should we even buy organic over conventionally sourced foods? According to Pruthi and defined by the USDA, for a farm to be considered organic, they need for at least 3 years to not use most pesticides, have a buffering zone between fields, be free of GMOs, ionizing radiation, and disgusting sewage. Surprisingly, this is the quote-unquote organic farms. This isn't just the qualifications for normal farms, as it sounds like. According to Harvard Medical Center, both organic and non-organic products fall under the safe levels of consumption. This is only one of the reasons why the labels in the grocery store can just be that, labels. We're missing the bigger picture here. Another thing to take into consideration when deciding between which food to eat is the cost. According to UC Davis Health, overall foods that are labeled organic cost on average 50% more than those that are conventionally sourced. They have also stated that there is an increased labor cost involving growing and maintaining an organic farm. This is due to the fact that organic farms take up much more land than the conventional ones do. According to Columbia Climate School, organic and conventional foods have both negative and positive effects that in the end come pretty close to equaling out. They say that conventionally farmed foods use more pesticides and cause more soil erosion, as well as they produce more pollution. However, while organic farms do less pesticides and create less pollution, they do produce a smaller yield. This means that for them to keep up with their conventional counterparts, they need to take up a lot more land and use a lot more resources in order to come up with the same number. This contributes to the higher price point. Not only is it more expensive, but also, according to Columbia Climate School, causes higher emissions, bringing it up to the same level, or sometimes even higher emissions of greenhouse gases than their conventional counterparts. Then moving on to the humane differences in things such as poultry and meats. Did you know that according to Kravitz and the USDA's livestock standards, for meat to be labeled organic, they only need to graze freely for 4 months out of the year. The rest of the time, they're inside eating organic feed, and since most cattle is slaughtered between 18 and 22 months, this is a very small percentage of their life spent actually free. Therefore, for the economic, environmental, and ethical reasons, there isn't a whole lot of justification for buying organic. However, there is a better option that will solve some of this great debate. That is buying locally sourced. According to Risavi, buying locally sourced ingredients is better than both organic and conventionally sourced products, as they cut down on emissions and are more ethically sourced. While local farmers aren't required to follow any of these guidelines, according to Yost, they are more likely to follow environmentally sound practices as it's part of their community. Food also doesn't have to travel as far. With the big corporations, organic or not, they're traveling thousands of miles before they reach your house. Another deciding factor that can go into why you should buy local is it keeps your money local. When you're supporting local, on average, according to Yost, 60% of the money comes back into the community, while buying organic or not organic from the grocery store will only result in 40% coming back to your community. Finally, it's the social aspect that does it for me. As being able to interact with the farmers and talk to them, you're getting a much more better experience of understanding where your food comes from, as we today are more disconnected from our food as we just see it broken down in the grocery store. So for my demonstration today, I'm going to make a little ahi poke. So I have fresh ahi from the Big Island, a Maui onion tomato, cucumbers that are locally grown, and I have made a little kimchi marinade. The only thing that is not locally sourced is soy sauce and the rice that I'm going to use, which we can't grow here, so. So I'm just gonna slice the onion pretty thin. Don't need too much. This is something simple that can be found at Safeway or Foodland, but not everything is locally sourced, of course. This really hits close to home with me, as I grew up with my mom making simple dishes like these out of things that we had in the garden. And as my time spent as a chef, I've seen a lot of food waste and sort of inhumane practices when it comes to food. So this one is something that I encounter in my daily life, and I wanted to share it with you. So for the ahi, just slicing it into some nice cubes. It's really important when you're doing this to have a nice sharp knife, as it damages the cells of the food less, which actually can make them taste better. Alright, so we're going to take the ahi, a little bit of soy sauce here. I like this one that comes with calamansi, as it gives a nice citrusy flavor. Now we'll just marinate this in some soy sauce, and we'll take some of our onion here, then a nice toss. If this was in the restaurant, of course, I'd be using gloves, but since it's just me at home, kind of being a little free with it. And then we're gonna take it, put it on top of our rice. And some kimchi cucumbers as well. And that's my simple poke bowl. I would like to leave you guys with this. Whether you're buying organic or locally grown or just conventional foods, I call you to make an educated response to how you would like to eat. Take into account everything that goes into your body, as you only get one life, and just take care of yourself. If you would like to buy organically yourself, we have a nice farmers market that can be found at Queen Kalamani Center, which is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you guys.